All right. Make sure you're back in your own group. We're going to do same groups, same numbers.
I think we lost a few of our people.
You want to do the video?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know where you put that remote.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so the next one, what we're doing now is we're shifting to shoulder. So the next request was please do shoulder. So we say okay.
Okay.
I don't know how to mute. Epic fail. Okay, so let's mute this. Hopefully this part's recorded. It's really important to put this in the video. That's how you mute things in Windows. Okay, so patient comes in. They want to be able to overhead press.
It'll play.
There. Okay, patient comes in initially. They're trying to externally rotate, get their left and right arm to the wall, and then raise it. Can't get there. At the end, they can do it. I'm sorry they flipped around. But here is left shoulder, there's left shoulder. He can't do it, now he can do it. That's what our task is now. Their goals, the outcome is he wants to overhead press. All his cool buddies at 9 rounds, the gym, can overhead press. He can't overhead press. So we got to get him there. Make sense? In our groups, we're going to do the same thing. The difference is going to be is that we're going to take this side of the room, so this set of groups, we want you to do something closed chain related. This side, think something open chain related. So what do we mean by that? Well, that means that you could still theoretically, if not to give you all a bunch of exercises, but if you're here and this, that still counts as open. Make sense? So you pick whatever you want. Just hand that we're trying to improve, maybe not as involved with the ground, but in this way over here, somewhat involved with the ground. Make sense? Any questions? All right, now what we're going to do, each group, 2 exercises that are going to build us from here. And remember, we already did the best soft tissue, best dry needling, best whatever you're going to do. We just did that. Now we're teaching them how to use it better. Start here, finish lifting weight overhead. 2 exercises per group. It's going to be a lot shorter time now. Ready? Let's get it on.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess that's so close.
Raise it up to where you're getting started.
That's like way more progressive than the ultimate goal, so like you wouldn't want to go there, right?
All right, 3 minutes.
Whatever. When you do that, are you actually pulling your chest off the ground? Or is it
Contracting the chin, trying to get the upper track
You do whatever is easier for you because you're going to have to do it about 40 times. Yeah.
So group 1, who are the 2 people?
No, we're going to group 1.
Oh, that's right. A little funny joke. Okay, we're going to start over here.
All right, everybody ready? Yep. So can we clear out this space? You guys move to the edges. All right, so we're going to go reverse order, group 14, since we robbed you last time. We robbed you. You ready? Not yet. You mind if I go?
Yes.
All right, come on up.
We would just start like down, stabilize here, and then wall slide up.
Okay. All right.
Wall slide.
What do you think? Remember, down there is babies. Down there, over there is overhead pressing.
Maybe.
This one's better on if you got a table. They'll put their arms out, thumbs up,
Okay.
and then they're just going to isometrically contract their mid-trap.
So we're lying down, fully supported.
Yeah, and then they'll just isometrically contract. Usually they need a little bit of cueing. It's a little bit hard if they haven't done it
So
before.
a lot of cueing.
Yeah, right through
And you guys
here.
are close chain? You're open chain. Okay.
Yeah, so usually you're on a table and they're
Okay.
got both
Cool.
arms
So
off.
where would that be? Compared to
I
where
think further down.
Taylor was. Down that way? Fully supported? All right. Cool. Who's next? Group 13 or 12? Group 12. We don't have 13.
So be down, up, in the 3 month, up, and then reach.
Okay. Supported spine. Right? Are there other points of control or influence? Okay. Can you go into your position? Go into your position. Who's being helped more by the ground? What?
A reaching arm is open chain. I mean, it's close chain number. Right?
Go ahead. What do you think? Could he be this side? You think so? So let me have you right here.
So his is going to be easier.
Yeah.
Did y'all say that? Just making sure.
Kansas City, you say easier?
Go ahead. Do them both. Do them both.
Yeah, do both. Just talking
Who's
about
got more
demands,
support?
the reason I bring this up,
Okay.
so just good talking point, then I'll let y'all pick how we do it. But in a case like this, remember the guy, I don't know how quick we're giving it to him, but he can't externally rotate. This gives way more options to bring that up versus a lumbar lock, which means he can't use low back at all. So theoretically, he's going to find a way to get there to make more room for that. Theoretically, this would be easier, less resistance than that if they're both doing the same type reach.
I
That's how I would look at
interpreted it to be easier because when the arm is up instead of down, you actually have some more support. You're in a higher mechanical advantage.
I think path least resistance, there's other places to get love without. So that was where I was coming from.
All right. So where would you put him? That side.
He's easier.
Okay. Who's next?
All right, so we're gonna be seated. We're just gonna do some different letters. So we can start with Y, W,
Oh.
T,
All right.
and I.
So is the spine weight bearing?
Yes.
Okay. Cool. How much load is on the arm in that position versus example that one? Is that more or less than KC? Which way does gravity point? Towards the ground. Okay? So is this harder or is this harder? Which one's harder to hold? That's harder to hold, right? Okay. So what position were you in? Show me. Okay. So he has almost straight. Gravity's pushing. Was that the same over here? Okay. Which one's harder?
Is that isometric or is it going through motion? Because if my goal is to come up,
Good point.
I am going through the same motion that he's.
Was it isometric or going through
I think
motion?
we're going through motion.
Okay. It's going through motion. Positionally, it's this way, right? So scoot like 3 feet that way. Stay right there. We may have to reorganize you later. Yep. All
Because
right.
resistance wise,
Do me a favor.
Back to a
Sit on the
stable
stool.
All right.
Because that'll remind me. Yep. All right. Who's next?
Here we're just doing, just getting in a 90-90 position with say
Okay.
like a 5-pound kettlebell or something
Uh huh.
here, and breathing, eccentrically load, breathing, eccentrically load.
Okay. So you have weight.
Right.
Okay. But you're using it eccentrically.
Right. So saying still, and it's open chain, so it's
The weight is not actually resisting you. It's assisting you, right? It's assisting the pattern.
Right.
Okay. So where would it be?
Maybe somewhere
Early on, when
there.
she's at 90 degrees, there's zero load, right,
Right.
of the shoulder. I mean, it's positionally here, but there's no leverage of gravity on that.
Right.
But as it increases, the leverage of gravity increases.
Right.
So what do you think? That's what makes this fun.
Does Taylor's
Here
hand come off the
somewhere?
ground or is he just reaching?
Taylor, was your arm off the ground?
Sure.
Yes.
Okay.
What would you say then?
I would put her before Taylor.
I would too. That way?
That way, yeah.
Yep. And spine was fully supported, right?
Right. But
You,
I just think like
Can
extremities.
you guys both do
but
them?
You're still more open.
you both do them?
So you're not, are you thinking what's going to be easier for this patient to do on that being their end goal, or
Mhm.
what's going to be more, I guess, educational or more corrective
Mhm.
to get them to that goal? Like, what's your,
So if we said what is easier as in load on the joint that we want?
let's take
What
it
would you
towards the
do?
goal.
What, if that was the goal? If that was the goal,
Let's
what would you do?
visualize it real quick. So I think we can answer it this way. Let's play by this additional caveat rule. So both of you go into your exercises. Remember, neither one of them, left arm, can externally rotate and press overhead. Does that make sense? All right, if that's the rule, I cannot get there. I just can't freaking do it. Which one is harder to get into or get near when you can't do that? She's harder? So here, I can't do this, right? So he started here, and he's like, I can't do that.
She's using gravity.
But she's starting here. She can work the edge of ability here and be like, what up? I'm good. Make sense? He's starting here. He's already here. Bro can't get there. That's a way harder position for him. Does that answer that?
Bro can't get there.
Yeah. Hope that helps. Does that help clarify the order? Why we would think that? She has way more degrees of freedom to work in to get up to that edge ability. He's already starting in a much higher place. So she's easier technically. Now, for a million other reasons, that could be a harder drill. But for this given demand, easy. More flexibility.
What's next?
So this one might be kind of hard, but so basically what we're doing here is we're going to be starting into a squatted position.
Okay.
And the goal of this is to kind of activate the scapular stabilizers.
Okay.
So you start out in a squatted position, lift this arm,
Okay.
and then you're holding it at the top
Okay.
and kind of feeling
So
those muscles in the posterior chain.
There's some resistance.
Yep.
Okay.
There.
And you're
And then last is both, and then kind of like a press if they can do it.
so modified
So-
standing position.
So this is 20 exercises, okay? So go back to that. So first, he started here, yeah? All right, so now just stand up, but keep this here. Do you see he's starting here? So how are we doing day one here? He literally cannot do that day one. Like literally cannot. So is this an easier thing to start in or harder thing? Yeah, good. Okay, just making sure now we're all on the same page. You're on confusion with the first three. I think now we're getting it, right?
You're on the other side of the screen, actually.
Yeah.
What's next?
Reverse snow angel, face down, like that.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
This way.
Okay.
Yep, you go.
Feeling? You're good. Remember you talked about position?
Okay.
I just remember this discussion. If she's doing reverse snow angel, stand up and do reverse snow angel. Where am I? End range, external rotation, and flexion, right? So where is that in our lineup? What do you think? But she was fully supported, so he wasn't fully supported in his spine. What do you think?
Like, we're not thinking about crawling, right? We're not looking at that way. From the four positions of
Yeah, so why that one's
spine
difficult,
supported,
remember his exam was here,
spine loaded.
but now instead of putting the wall behind him, we're putting the wall in front of him, and we're calling that the floor, right? And gravity's smashing us against it. That's what she's trying to do. So now we're saying, get there. He's like, nothing. So that's a very, range of motion-wise, highly demanding for the task we're looking for. Literally blocking them from being anywhere else. So he's just going to get stuck here. Does that make sense? So you can look at that as hard, but the caveat is it has tons of degrees of freedom to it, like hers, where literally he could work it here. So then in that realm, it's easier. The overall demand, higher. Make sense? So again, these start to get foggy. Especially when we play by the rules, we make you do something open chain. Make sense? But you'll see how they'll fall together because there's the reason we're doing it a little different this time. You'll see in about 15 minutes.
Are we saying he already has that range of motion there?
We're in your case, that's a great question. Are you saying that or not saying that?
Well, I thought that's what we were saying, that he's got the range, he
The
just can't
passively,
add
you would
demand.
have the range.
Okay.
Passively.
Control it.
So like in these,
Yeah.
I mean, you would think if that range is already there, you're going, I guess that was my,
Got it. Good clarity. Good clarity. You'll see why here in a minute. There's two pieces of this we didn't tell you. So when we get lined up, you'll see how it's different here in a minute. But yes, keep rolling. We'll just do the best we can based on that.
All right, so pretty much just an isometric hold.
So, cover card with it.
Next.
So we're gonna go Paul kneeling calls spine and start with M, and Greg calls this shoulder patterns and perturbations, right? We'll go T, and then Y.
Is that Otis? Where's the oscillation?
And then you can also step and give the support pattern and all those things.
So just to be clear, you're not having her go into end range. She's starting end range. You're perturbing it to get some activation.
Right.
Okay. So then already need to achieve end range.
Yeah, I think if we start here and move through.
Okay. So you're going to be kneeling, but you got to figure out where people end up on either side.
Right.
Okay. All right. Who's next? Is that group? You guys? All right. See it.
Basically controlled articulation rotations. Start hand on the side.
FRC action here.
Shoulder down.
Yeah.
Slow, like you're moving the hand through molasses.
Okay.
Come up as hard as you can.
All right.
And then when you can no longer do that, turn the hand over.
Mm-hmm.
Come all the way back.
All right.
And then down here to where you can't go farther here, and then come back up and flip back over.
Do you do those with patients?
I'm try 3.
Okay. Congratulations for being here. Seriously. I didn't.
Yeah,
do
good
this.
job.
Yeah, try 3.
Next.
Good. So where would you be?
Oh yeah, we were
Down this way.
Yep. On that side of the kneeling. Who's next? Come on up. Yep. Let's do it.
We said we were gonna do some body blade stuff, so first starting here with co-contraction.
Okay.
And once that's achievable, going up in the scapular.
All right. So you must now hold that in front of you.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Where should you be?
Well,
You doing
I'm
standing?
standing, but you can do it.
So let's keep the standing as the organizational structure,
Okay.
just for argument.
Okay.
Because overhead press is where we're going. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's next?
So we could probably do the seated, but it'd be focused on pure external rotation, right? So
Okay. You would do it seated?
right here.
Sit
Probably
your stool for me.
just to put this on the wall, and then you can focus more on
Sit him down.
scapular stability.
Sit him down.
There you go.
All right.
Then this would be attached to the wall, focusing on
All right.
posture and scapular
Okay.
stability.
So you're going to resist, and he's going to end up in the end range.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would that be compared to yours? He's seated too.
I think I do with the letters.
Just moving from the range of motion or with the.
Range of motion. I don't want to have this.
Yeah. All right.
Put it in your pocket.
To the side of him because it's resistant. Good. Next. And let's have the next one right up behind him.
Okay, so similar to a wall slide without a wall, shoulder's going to skip pulled down, go into shoulder flexion, upward tilt of the shoulder blade.
All right.
Just right there.
Who's our standing people?
Yeah.
All right. More aggressive, less aggressive than.
What did you do?
Our goal is overhead pressing.
Yeah.
Right?
You're probably in the middle.
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then next.
Give them a feedback.
Just work on some scap stability.
Okay.
Starting palms down, tracking those blades. Just working on that, keeping those shoulder blades.
Okay, so you're standing?
Yep.
All right. Where do you end up?
All right, standing people, strike your pose.
We're out. So we go
Crush it.
standing,
Own
standing,
it.
kneeling, standing, kneeling, standing. Oh, we got disorganization down there. We don't have a press. All
All
right.
right, let's see him real quick.
Yep. All right. There's some confusion down here on this exercise. Do about 50 reps, and they just need to see it. Keep going. I'm just saying. Good. All right.
Yeah, so
We got some.
yeah, so
disorganization.
okay, so let's answer this question real quick. So there's two ways to line this up, and we're going to basically show both here in a minute. So we have to pick A, yes, like she said, 100% he already has the range. He literally just does not know how to do it. And then the other is it's tough for him, but he's progressing there to be there by the 8th visit or so. Make sense? So right now, let's line up as they've already got it, just what's going to be harder. Does that make sense? That's what we're going for right this minute. He's already got it, and then we just need to get there. What's the next hardest? So from his perspective, since he's doing the road resistance, but he's not going overhead, There is the resistance piece, but there's not the range of motion demand, right? It's not getting closer to the overhead press, but there is resistance. And then what was yours? Hit yours and yours real quick. So no resistance with either or range of
No
motion.
resistance.
Okay. Yep.
All right.
And less range of motion with resistance. So then, yeah, I guess he is over. All right, flip back. That's good. Because there's a little resistance, a little bit of it. Good.
We got a standing, kneeling guy that's out of place.
Oh.
You just
All right, play it. Hop over here. All right. What else we got? And yours. No, we're good?
Everybody standing
Yeah,
there?
impossible and.
Wait. Are you open or closed? Closed. All right. So now these are all our progressions for open chain exercises.
Yep.
Right. All right.
What's that? Starting dead bug. Kneel down. Down. Press. Back.
All right.
I think I mixed up.
I love it. So what do you guys think? Is it? What
So
was
you
yours?
already have the range. It's just hard to do. It's resisted into the thing. Hard.
Resisted.
All right, everybody strike their pose down here now.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah, it's technically going to be open. Yeah. So we're just going to go ahead and put him.
Next to the wall.
You guys can all go down. Fine.
He's doing the.
Yeah, I guess right in between the yeah. So you're hop right between the throne. Okay, good. Next. You impressive.
Never.
I'm judging you every second.
Always.
Okay.
All right.
Heyo.
Heyo.
Okay, so where are we putting it? Is there resistance with that? Yeah.
Yeah. What is our end goal for this client?
Overhead press.
And who's got us closest to overhead press? Nice.
Yep. Yeah, from a resistance perspective, for sure. So he's.
Oh.
Down dog.
All right. Down dog?
In it.
Yep,
Okay.
cool.
So transitioning into it? Nice. So is that easier or harder than what we just saw?
Easier.
So you're going to be on this side?
Oh, yeah, but there's resistance.
He went into
Yeah,
that.
you'll be good. You'll be good.
All right.
So, quadruped.
Nice.
Okay.
And then
Yeah. Look at it. Single-handedly, literally pushing the profession forward.
I was thinking about it. All right. And then
So
pictures, so we know.
But she's forcing our lifting on.
My arms are up.
Yes.
Okay. So if we clear this out, just you and you, just keep going. Just you go down. Can you just scoot over? What's the difference between this and these two? He's stabilized and supported. He's got an extra mechanism of support. So this is perfect progression in my mind, right? All right.
Yes. No.
Yeah, he's lifting. He's got the decreased friction of the paper.
I think you can argue it three ways.
Yeah, he could. But for now, fair.
Okay. Who's next?
Thoracic extensions or extension.
Okay. Cool. Downward dog. Anything to start with downward dog, get into it now. Head down there. Figure out which order. So we have going into downward dog.
With an overhead press.
Yep. Then blue shirt is with the overhead press. And what was yours?
Low bear.
Okay. So what's harder? Downward dog. Can you please do it? And low bear? Overhead press. You're still a stud. You can, hands up with it. You're a stud. Relax. You've earned varsity stripes. You guys keep going. Keep going. Is that in the right order? Is that in the right order?
Yeah. Definitely.
Low bear's harder?
Well, he's keeping these off.
Yeah, I think that's.
good.
I think it's more resistant. Yep.
That's good.
That is correct order.
Put a cloth so you could, if you had like a band or something, you could.
Okay.
No, great drill.
All right, good. But you weren't pushing the profession forward, so grab some.
Yeah.
All right, next up.
Scapular stabilization.
Do we have two more total or one more? Two. Cool. Cool.
So here, extension of the wrist, retraction of the chin, really pressing in with the elbows, trying to get that straightest interior to fire.
Okay. So it's a activation exercise. There's no motion here, right?
Isometric.
So awareness, isometric. Okay. Where do you put yourself? Who was laying down? Was that harder or easier than snow angels? Okay. Harder or easier than what was yours? Yep.
Pretty much the mid-track contraction.
Okay. His was more demanding. How about that?
Yeah.
More demanding than that? Good. Perfect. Good order. All right, what do you got?
Here.
Cool. All right. How many points of support? 4. 4. So it's somewhere this way if you got it, right? How many points of support did you have? Okay. So is it less demanding or which one is more demanding? I'll use that term. His is more demanding, so you got to be on this side. Whose is more demanding here?
First.
I don't know. Gravity's helping her out because she's got that chest pushing her forward, right? She's gaining the range of motion. I would slide it right here. Can I see yours? You were the DNS crawling thing? What do you think? I think she's even on this side of it. Yep.
Should have got early check.
Yeah.
That would make it.
What do you think? Here versus Snow Angel?
This is good.
We can argue it, right? But you see that you need to have a progression of this. Great. All right.
Okay, so we're gonna go with this as our line. So you guys, we're gonna spend 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds of y'all doing the exercise, so that the team can pick the next piece of this. So go for it. Let's go. Life choices, David. Life choices. Life choices.
By the way, if you've never seen any of these exercises performed, take out your phone, remember what it looks like, think about patients where this would be effective or any gaps that you're filling in your own exercise. And our stud, who's doing handstand push-ups here, still ripping them out, buddy.
This is gold right here.
Yeah, and this dude holding that isometric squat.
But you gotta wait. They're all the way down here. They're coming.
Amazing,
Just keep it
right?
going until they
Amazing.
get here.
All right, we want to make sure we answer the questions that we had at the start. Somebody asked us, how do you rehab a shoulder? Who asked that?
That's fine.
Who asked how do you rehab a shoulder? Okay, this is how you rehab a shoulder. All right.
So here's what we're going to do. We've selected a team. This team's going to come through and pick the 5 best based on the rules that are staples that they feel has to be in a rehab plan. If in 8 visits, we have to have this patient overhead pressing. Make sense? Okay, so what was your first one? Doesn't matter which order, but just pick your 5 and let's bring them up front. Okay, weight going back. 1.
Congratulations.
2.
Yeah,
forward.
Travis.
Kneeling. And overhead.
Okay, so these 5 come up here. Demo again.
We could have
Let's
got
talk
Doug doing
through
more
some
push-ups.
So these are their office. They're an office team. They're building their plan for their clinic and say that when we are working an overhead press progression, that what we're looking for are these things. They like this because of the options that individual gets to explore that range. Plus, it's way less load. There's a million ways we can modify this, and we'll play with that here in a little bit. They loved hers because they're taking her arms in a position that looks and smells a lot like overhead press. They love his because of the same things about how we're getting different changes in the shoulder blade, especially when they switch arms. Here, it's the left hand he had down. But regardless, there's a lot of dynamic reasons they love that. This, because now we're getting some band resistance in the pattern of what we're looking for, but they're also having to still load through the hip, just like with the overhead press, but it's a little regressed because we can load here, this side's unloaded, and then they can start practicing that pattern with band resistance, but at the same time, it's cueing them what that center of mass is. You had one goal, one job. Okay, and then we love this because this is almost harder than the overhead press because he's got all this happening. So fantastic. So those are our staples. Now, take a break just for a second. Now, team 2 come in. Do you love these? Support these? Would you change these? What would this office do?
So we liked the quad slide, the quadruped slide, just because it opens up the chest a little bit, and Same thing, stability of the scapula.
Yep, love this.
We like the thoracic opener, lat for a stretch, just to get the thoracic mobility in there too. And then
we like one here on the end just because it's allowing that patient to get there passively and use gravity
Yep.
versus trying to force something there.
Yep.
Again, letting them kind of explore that range of motion.
Got the down dog.
So who'd you fire? Who'd you fire?
These two.
These are fired?
Yeah.
You're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here. Who brought you? All right.
So we had, then we had the
So down dog's in.
down
Who
dog
did
and
down
pike
dog?
push up.
Cool.
And
Hop
pike
on in.
push up.
They love down dog. And who else?
Pike push up.
Pike push up.
And our stud.
Okay. So now, would anybody be offended if they took either, if these 5 were in there or if those 5 were in there? No. If I bake pretzels and I'm Annie Ann's, I might like a little garlic in mine. Wetzel's Pretzels might not like the garlic. But are any of us sad about either one of these? Those are great staples, and then we build from there. So now what we want to go into is the same concept, but let's talk about just some cueing options to get your mind going. When everyone broke for lunch, we had a couple of great cases come up where they were just wondering about different ways of looking at how to cue that. Okay? And I want to talk about just different ways we can do that. Josh, you want to go first?
Yeah, it's great. All right. Anybody ever have any? You know this person has passive range of motion. You know what you want your end goal to be, and you cry about
Sorry,
it.
guys. That was me. That was.
And you can't seem to get the person moving forward. You can't seem to get them. One of the things you have to make sure you know what your goal is. They have their goal. Your goal, we may say, is extension of the hip. Or in this case, what was our goal? We wanted to see that patient perform external rotation and flexion of the shoulder, right? Of the shoulder. So if that's your goal, maybe you don't want to see a bunch of T-spine motion, because what we're really working on is specifically shoulder motion. Maybe you have a patient that doesn't have great T-spine motion, you're going to encourage that. Okay, so I want to go over some cueing options, and then I want to go over how to progress them through the rehab process when you know you have your exercises down. You know the exercise you want them to do, but we want to progress them there. So I'd like everybody to do is stand on up. We're all going to face down that hall. We're going to all look at Justin, who's well-dressed. We're going to give him a hand. That is a well-dressed man right there. Yep. All right, feet about shoulder width apart. All right. And everybody keep your feet where they are, turn all the way to your right. Now, if you have pain or you're like, hey, I have a crazy disc angular tear, don't do this, but keep turning to the right. Now try and turn 25% more. All right? Hold that, hold that, hold that. What do you feel when you do that? What do you feel?
Tightness in my upper back.
Tightness in your upper back, okay? Turn, turn, turn. What do you feel when you do that?
My oblique.
On what side?
Right side.
Right sided oblique. So we have upper back and right side obliques. What do you feel? Left knee. Great. Right knee. Great. All right. What do you feel? Turn, turn, turn. Tightness in the right lumbar spine. What do you feel? Okay, right shoulder blade. Come with me. Knees, get together. Come with me. If I ask you, come with me. And everybody else can relax. You guys are going to stand here. All right. I just want you guys in a line facing me. Facing this way. You're going to be turning and looking that way. So you're in a line this way. Just have you step forward. Let me just have you window just step forward. Yeah, stand right there. Just forward. For every turn right. All right. Tell me what you feel. Okay. All right. Is there pain? Okay, you're out. Get out.
Left knee tightness.
Left knee tightness, okay? Turn right. Turn right. Increase your left knee tightness. What happened? What did he do more of? He turned more, which was our goal, right? You can relax. What do you feel?
Right shoulder blade.
Right shoulder blade, what do you feel? Like front, back?
Like a pinching.
Okay, a pinching. Is it painful? Okay, turn. Increase that feeling that you feel. What did he do? Turn more. Was the cue rotate more? Activate your internal obliques on one side, your externals on the other. All right? Turn, what do you feel?
Tightness.
Where?
Right upper back.
Right upper back, can you increase it? What'd you do? Did I say activate your, come face me? let's see. I want you to completely relax your left hip rotators, and I want you to, well, obviously preload your TBA, all right? And then shove your tongue in your mouth and brace, and then rotate. Go ahead and do that. Better or worse than what you did before? Worse. All right. What did you feel?
My right obliques.
Your right obliques. Can you feel them more? Okay. Can you turn more? Remember that feeling in your obliques? Increase it like to 50%. On a scale of 0 to 10, what is that? Like the amount of effort you're putting into those right obliques right now? An 8? Can you give me a 10? Sissy Mary? 11? How about an 11? All right. When I found out what they felt, and I asked them to do more of it, they all performed it. Now that cue doesn't always work, but he said knee. Would any of you have said, to increase rotation, I want you to feel the tension in your knee increase? But if our goal was rotation, did that create what we wanted? Find out what works for them based on what they feel. Can you turn again? Can you turn again? All right. Was it left knee or right?
It's way less about what you want them to feel than what you don't want them to feel. Does that make sense? You don't want them to feel pain with it.
No,
But what they feel is a subjective experience.
That's why we booted him, because he was feeling pain.
Yeah.
Increase the tension in your left
We
knee.
don't want him to feel pain. It's way more about what we don't want him to feel. So patients will always ask, what should I feel? Like if you're giving an answer, so many times it's changing the outcome on accident. You have the best intentions ever, but you have the subjective experience of knowing what you feel. So when I feel that, it's like, oh my gosh, what a cramp under my shoulder blade. But their experience is dramatically different. It's about what we don't want them to feel.
How many times?
And tell them that, and they're on board.
We did a lot of hip hinging earlier, right? Palm kneeling hip hinges. How many people would say, I want you to feel it in your glutes? Remember, that person may not know what the hell glutes are. Their brain is not connecting there, hence the reason they're in your office and hence the reason you're rehabbing them. They don't make that connection. So if you're telling them what to feel, it's like going, Jay, what's 2 plus potato salad?
Or
divided by pi. That doesn't make sense. They can't connect, right? Can you turn and you turn? My last point, increase the tension in your left knee. What happened?
No.
Pretty much nothing. Come on, seriously. Let's go. Focus on it. Come on, you got this. I know you can do it. Don't you want to get better? Come on, this is what's going to make you better. All right, relax. You have to give them what they are feeling. All right? Make sense? So, can you go down on all fours? You guys, thank you very much. Go into a bird dog. If my goal is hip extension, can you do it with a ton of lumbar extension? Should I encourage that? You do a couple reps. Am I getting hip extension or am I getting something else? So I need to give him a cue, right? So I want him to, what is my goal? Hip extension. So, you ever wear this? I don't want this to move. Just move this leg now back. Did you do that correctly? Okay. Yes, no. What do you feel when you do that?
Just tension.
You feel some tension back here? Okay. Remember the bad one you did? Do that. What do you feel now? You feel it in the back. So when it's good, where is it? Okay. And when it's bad, where is it? Okay. So let me have you do a couple more reps. You comfortable with this? There's no pain, right? Okay. What's the good one feel like? Okay. Can you do that for me? 3 reps of that good. He has to have something to anchor on. If I say it looks good, does he have any reference point for how good this looks? He's like, I'm in midair. My leg's going back. I don't know. All right. So were those good? Okay. If you were to describe that tightness, I want him to anchor on something. That tightness, right? Now I got his brain working. I'm going to say, on a scale of 0 to 10, this is one option. How much tightness do you feel in that hip? A 3? Okay, cool. Can you make it a 5? All right, let me see. Okay. What do you think? Is that a 5? What do you think? Was that good? Remember, I think you moved here. Remember, show me a bad one again. He has to, what's called error detect. He has to know what bad is to be able to delineate good. So I'm going to encourage him to do a bad one. Why? So he knows the difference, right? All right, it's like we went to Q39. We thought it was great. Why? Because we've had bad barbecue, and we know how bad that is. That's why we were so impressed, and we went back 4 times. All right? Show me bad.
3 days.
Show me good. Okay? Learning just occurred. What do we want our patients to do? We want them to learn motor control, and we have to give them anchoring points. So in this case, he can't see his hip. I specifically use bird dog because he's blind to his own hip, right? So he can't see if he's doing it correctly. Okay, go back into it. Now, another mistake a lot of people do more, about 3 more reps, is they stay here and they go, great rep. Here, good rep. Good rep. Am I going to be with him for the rest of the day? Okay. So I want to start creating space or less feedback. He needs to learn. It's like teaching you to fish, right? If I'm there to coach you and cue you every time, you're becoming more reliant on that cueing and coaching. So I'm going to say, you did 3. I love those. Those are great. Give me 5. Good. Can you do 10 good ones? And I'm purposely going to leave them alone. Let's say that was 10. Come back. How were those? Good. Give yourself a grade. B+. A B+? Oh, can you give me an A? Sure. Do an A. I'm going to talk to Jay. We're going to rep out. I'm going to come back after maybe a couple minutes. I don't care how many you did. And I'm going to say, how you doing? What's your grade? A+. Good. Go ahead and do it again. I'm purposely not progressing this exercise, by the way, like we would progress. And I'm just going to add some, okay, keep going. How you feeling? Good. Good? All right. You're working, huh? All right. Hop on up. Yep. Give yourself a grade. A minus? What's the difference between the B you said earlier and an A minus?
I just felt my core tightening.
You felt your core tightening? Okay. So when you go home, I want you to do these. And I want you to feel your core tightening. That's your cue. Great. If that works, those were great. So good job. Now, the question is, what do I send him home with? Sets and reps. How many reps do we do?
So you feel the through core tightening.
We did enough reps where he learned that it was good, right? So instead of saying, I want you to do 3 sets of 10 bird dogs, can you just get down and play with it for a minute? Remember how it felt bad? Remember how it felt good? Great. Can you do 1 bad one every once in a while just to remember what it feels like? Sounds kind of silly, right? But does it make sense? You remember how good that good one felt? Awesome. All right, 1 minute a night, right? Thanks. Very different than 3 sets of 10 bird dogs. What is he anchoring in? Does he know, if I just say that, does he know what success is like? Does he know what failure is like? Has he learned if I just give him that exercise? So give them an anchor, oftentimes a feeling. Encourage them to change that feeling. And then encourage them to throw it all away. Say, here's what garbage looks like. You remember when you came in, you deadlifted like this? You feel the difference? Oh yeah, that feels great. Now they have somewhere to progress, and they know inherently the difference between good movement and bad movement. When they came in, they had no reference point. Does that make sense? Does that help? All right.
So we only have about 6 minutes left. But when we had everybody lined up here for shoulder, did anyone in here, and be honest, this is a safe place, did anybody see an exercise they said, I would never use that, and they had a critique of it they didn't like? Very safe place. Was there any that you were like, I would probably just never use that, and had a reason? You did? Okay, which one? The banded overhead squat thingy? Okay, hop over here. Banded overhead squat guy, activate. Okay, and then, okay,
recovered.
now, you're fresh, baby. You're glistening. All right, so now, what did you not like?
Too complicated.
Too complicated. Okay, fantastic. So go ahead and start this. Okay, so now I want to talk about the same thing with cueing, but now let's talk about how exercise can be infinitely progressible or changeable based on things you didn't like. Who else did not like this? Be honest. Okay, what did you not like?
I think it's hard for a person to kind of get an idea of what they're doing. Plus, it goes beyond what our goal was.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. So I think that's a fair stance, but I think you can make an argument too sometimes getting beyond that to know that they got it. Almost like if I'm going to run 10 miles, it's nice to know I can run 11 so I don't crash at 10. Sure. But I understand what you're saying. What was yours?
Hard mobility.
Hard mobility to get into. But if we're playing under the reality that he already got it back, it kind of takes that away. That's good. And there was one more critique. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine teaching staff to teach that to someone.
Okay, it's fair. So logistically, he feels like that would be very difficult. You didn't like it because what again?
It's just, yeah, like what he said, it was not the goal. It was
Okay.
overhead press, not overhead
Got
squat or snatch. So
Okay, so since we have all nice people in the room, this game doesn't work as well. But go ahead and start into the exercise.
Well, the exercise, it wasn't just for, we were just holding statically because that's what we're trying to
Okay,
do.
hold it statically.
Okay.
Yep. So let's say, all right, I'm going to be the judgmental criticisms we typically always hear about this. Okay, so A, oh my gosh, I hate that this is this way. Well, how easy would it be to change this or cue this or regress it? I think there's a lot of ways we could regress it by almost, if this is where we want to get, let's say we all agreed we love this. Or this was patient's goal. I want to do this. Saw this cool thing on Instagram, I got to be that guy. Right? It looks amazing with the right lighting and the right pick, like I look ripped. Right? Maybe that's what they want. Yeah. So we're going to have you come on up a little bit, come out of the hip hinge.
Oh, dang.
Okay, start again just from the upper portion. Or stay there. Just good. But no matter what, let's play with different cueing. Let's say that all of a sudden this shoulder was painful with it, but he met all the other prerequisites, but somehow with this angle, with this load, it's different. What are some options that we could do to improve this? What's something?
Give him a chair.
Okay, you could give him a chair instantly, but we're not doing that because that would be too kind. What else can we do?
Lighter band.
A lighter band. So, okay, unwrap this some. Yep. You can get rid of the band. Would you like to do that? Okay, you'd like to do that. So get rid of the band, drop in the same thing. Okay, what else could we do to make it kinder? We can bring the arms down some. Bring that down some. Do you like this? Is this happy? This is happy. Okay, what else could we do?
Stand up.
Take him out of the squat? Can't do that. All right, what else can we do? Quadosaurus Rex over here can't do that. Can't miss squat isometric day. What else we got? Split stance. We could split stance it, right? We took one movement, made 20 modifications just then, but that's not even going hands-on. So if you have staff, assistant staff that you've trained to be able to do this, they don't even have to put hands on to make those modifications. And you can do this. One thing I'm a huge proponent for is investing back in your staff. So schedule 3 hours a week. That's my minimum rule that I try to push on everyone. 3 hours where you're going through and workshopping things like this to level up your team. So we could take one random movement from this weekend and you could go through it. But then you can say, hey, let's do hands-on because we're that good. So let's drop in the same thing. And let's say that he's painful in the shoulder. Well, then you could try the same thing. Bring that down. Okay, what happens if I come here and then assist him? Is that easy? Can you go there now? Now what do you feel? Okay, not as much. Like, do you see how we can modify it in a million ways? Okay, well, sometimes complaints will be like, oh my gosh, his scapula is just not enough to his thorax. Well, then, okay, great. So we can come in and change it. So it's like, all right, resist me here. Don't let me pull you. Yep, okay, or just don't let me push you, right? Or don't let me pull your pinky. And then all of a sudden, what happened? For those back here, probably the only ones that can see, in seconds, this is locking on. We can take advantage of some of our neurological knowledge and know that if I activate here, he's going to change his scapular loading pattern in 2 seconds. What feels different?
It just feels more solid.
More solid. Do you know how hard people try to make that feeling happen on people? And how many courses and dollars they'll spend just to feel that emotion for 2 seconds? What did we do? Made shit up. Yeah, but it worked. Good. Okay, what questions do we have before we wrap up?
Do you give the patient, like, if we're progressing, do you show them the progressions you would like to go through to give them some kind of goal? Or do you just say, okay, do this progression, go through the progression, and have no end objective?
Great question. So his question was, do we show the patient all of these cool movements and exercises we know? No. I've never done it once in 10 years. But what we do is say, oh, Miss Jones, you want overhead press? Guess what we're doing? This is step 1 in getting there. This is step 2. I've never been questioned like, what would the next 9 exercises look like in the progression? I'm so glad you asked. Like, I would love to answer that. I've just never had it happen. So don't, again, answer questions that are asked, but don't vomit. You know, like the number one thing, who loves spam email? Like, that is modern day, just telling them all the shit you know is like spam. Like, no, I didn't ask for this. Like, pump the brakes. If I ask, deliver. Now you're exceeding expectations. If they don't ask, like, don't vomit. Like, nope, they're learning in their way. 2 more questions?
I want to make sure we covered the questions that we were asked at the beginning, too.
Oh, my bad. Okay, so we'll finish this and then.
So I want to make sure. Number 1 was how to rehab a shoulder. Was that covered?
Yep.
All right. Progression of forces. Progression of forces in rehab. Does everybody have a good mindset for a systematic progression of that? Okay. Targeting specific muscles or direct muscle versus a pattern approach. Somebody asked that question. Do you feel that you were comfortable? I don't know who asked it. Does anybody remember asking that question? The girl, the girl with the scapula.
So that's a very
all the girls without the scapulas.
No, there was one case that came up to us at lunch.
It was pretty.
I know why she was asking that now.
Yeah.
Because normally that's a pretty straightforward question. Like we like patterns way more than single muscles, but she had a little interesting case as why she asked that. But I do want to clarify that. Did we see in just the 2 minutes I did with cueing how we can still get and make everybody happy? Like it's like, oh, I want the pattern of this stabilization. Awesome, we did it. Like, oh, I want to feel serratus to it. I want lower trap to do it. Cool, it did it. Like, you can literally feel it. We just made that one cueing modification. Like, it appeases everyone. We can use language that's equal.
Remember when he said turn on your serratus and your lower trap? What did it say? Oh, weird. All right, where to start when somebody is dying in pain? You feel like you have options for that?
Yep, so let's talk about that. So, same thing. Patient now, if we play by the rule that he's highly painful with this. Do you see how it may or may not change our whole progression, but priorities shift really effing quick. So the ones that have the most degree of freedom to move around is instantly our best friend to work on their edge of ability and not flare them up. So we can take what we get, like whatever we do with our passive or soft tissue, like that absolutely is going to help, but then only take what it'll give you. You know, don't slam through. But that gets into a whole different classification of, is it inflammatory pain? Is it mechanical pain? Is that just an awareness? They think it's pain. Like, it gets hard.
Yep. Last question was the criteria for release from care. This one drives me nuts, so I'll just say it. How many folks have ever been to a provider that didn't understand a system, so therefore they had you do rehab here, and then they said you've now reached either the max limit of your insurance or the max limit of how many times we're going to see you, return to play. So they were down the hallway with the babies, and they said, all right, go ahead and get out of here. Anybody been through ACL rehab? Did you feel at any point that you were all the way down there when you got released? Where do you think you were, just if we generally said in the room? When you were released?
Like 75%.
75%? How about you?
Still in active, but.
And how long have you been in it?
15 weeks.
15 weeks, and you still feel like you're... Where do you think you are on the continuum, just straight across?
Probably about where he is, about 75.
Midway, maybe kneeling. Cool. Anybody else? Anybody else have an injury where they were released down in this section? Yes? Raise your hand. What was your injury?
I had back surgery.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, it was...
Back surgery, where do you think they released you? Like, where on your progressive rehab were you?
I was under 50%.
Under 50%. So you're on this side of the room? Okay. That's a disservice. I hope you see that you need to keep progressing. What is the end? What was the end of each exercise? Our goal to say, we got your quad strength up to within 10% of your healthy leg? No, what was our goal? Their goal, yeah. Hey, if you say, I want to be able to overhead deep squat 225 pounds repeatedly for reps, our dude with the overhead, that ain't even the end. That's not the most aggressive exercise we need to get to, right? We need to go on. There's actually a room behind that room where we have another set of people working. All right?
But let's talk about the power of that. So if you know this idea, there were 3 ways we talked about grading it up, right? Using developmental positions, whether it's ground reactive force, whether it's resistance that we're building up. If you know the end game there, if Miss Jones says where she really wants to get is just being the person that can do this, well, if we get her just a little bit past that, we met and exceeded her expectations. She doesn't have to be heavy resisted overhead press, but if you understand where that is, you see how we can chop up and put every patient into where they're going to go? So my challenge to you over the next 2 weeks in practice is by day 2 of your exam, you did your examination, by day 2, you and the patient need to be on the same page from this day forward of knowing where the hell you're going. Because if you don't, A, you're wasting your time, because you're going to get inefficient loss. All of a sudden you're going to notice, oh, I'm here. You know what the next progression from this is? It's this. And then it's this. And then all of a sudden you're way out of time. Know where you're going, structure it that way, and you can do your own internal audits of how am I doing progressing to get there. Build your own systems. You got this. Thank you.
I'm good. That's it.